All right, today we are going to look at the difference between drawing shapes and forms. Okay, we've talked about this a little bit before, so we're going to do a little review, and then I have a few projects for you, okay? Some different ideas that you can use these things to draw anything that you want, okay? So a little review of our shapes. We have squares, circle, triangle, rectangle, oval, and let's do a little crazy shape here. Okay, so these are the flat shapes that we have. Now if we go to forms, we're going to create 3 dimensions from these 2 dimensions. So shapes are 2D, 2-dimensional, and forms are 3D, 3-dimensional. Okay, so I have this square that I'm going to turn into a cube. This circle transforms into a sphere, although for this form it's a little bit different. We have to do this form not through lines but through value. So through the shading is what shows this as 3-dimensional. Okay, so I'll show you guys a little bit more about shading spheres and shading in general in another video. Okay, a little bit too dark here. So I always like to draw in pencil. You can erase, adjust, erase again, adjust again. Okay. Triangle. Let's make that into a pyramid. Rectangle. Make into a rectangular prism. Oval. Let's make into a cylinder. Okay. And then this shape. That's not quite exactly the same, but we'll make do. Okay. We can also make this into a form. Oh, this one's a little bit crazy here. Okay. All right. Yeah, close enough. All right. Okay. So we're going to practice this first. Okay. So I'm going to come down here. I'm going to show you a couple different ways to start with drawing a cube. Okay. So you guys probably already know a few of these ways, but it's always good to practice. And it's always good to learn new ways in case you haven't seen this. All right. So the first way I'm going to do this is I'm going to draw another square. Okay, it can overlap, but it doesn't have to. I can do another one. Where it doesn't overlap, it won't be a square, or it won't be a cube, I mean. But I'll show you how that works. Actually, let's do this one first. Okay, so now I'm going to connect these corners. So the bottom right to the bottom right, top left, top right, bottom left. Okay, so now we have a rectangular prism going back away from us. So let's do this square now to make a cube. So we're going to, again, connect those lines. It's a little bit easier with this one to tell which corners connect. But here now we have a cube. Okay? We can do this with all the shapes. So I can make a triangular prism the same way. Connect those corners. Okay. I can even make letters this way. So I can make a shape that looks like the letter T. And I can make another shape that looks like the letter T. Okay, and now I can connect these corners. Oops. Sometimes it helps to have a ruler. Okay, and now we have a T prism. All right. Now there's another way to do this. So these, we can see the lines going through it. So these are kind of transparent forms. I can erase some of the lines that we wouldn't see. Then redraw this here. okay? But it's an extra step. It's kind of challenging sometimes. It gets confusing with all the extra lines. So I have another way that I do it that I like a little bit better, but it's a little bit tricky. So I can draw my square-ish. It's not quite a perfect square. Okay, and then I'm going to just start drawing lines, parallel lines though. Okay, so they all have to be even. If I drew my square and my lines were going this way and this way and that way, okay, so see how my lines are not going in the same direction? Even if they're just a little bit off, it can make a big difference. So if I have it just a little bit off, okay, this one isn't quite right. It needs to be parallel to this one. This one isn't quite right. This one is good. Okay, so then I can connect. Actually, this line is actually a little bit off. So see also how I'm not quite erasing yet. So I'm trying to set up my lines first so I can tell what needs to be adjusted. And then I can go in and erase and get my lines nice and straight. Okay, so this one needs a lot of fixing. So maybe I will erase some of these lines. Okay, this one too. So they all have to go the same direction. Okay, there we go. Now I got a bunch of ice cubes. Maybe I can draw a glass around it, a little cylinder around it. And now I have a glass with some ice cubes in it. Okay? All right. So we can do this in a lot of different ways. So again, the cube also, or any of these, I don't always have to draw the lines going that direction. I can go any direction I want. I can make it as long as I want. Okay, so but again, I need this line to be the same as this. So this wasn't quite right. Okay, so if I drew it like that, that's not right. And this one has to be the same direction as that one. Okay, so what I would like you to do for this first project is to choose one form. Okay, so square, maybe wait for the cylinder for another time. Any of these forms, or any forms that you can think of. You can even try to do your name if you want. But I want you to try to practice these forms and then, you know, make something out of them. So with this one, maybe I can make, maybe I can make a skyscraper. So maybe I'm looking down, so I can do a bunch of windows. Oops. And I'm looking from the sky, so maybe I'll draw a plane. Not quite how you draw a plane. This one has a propeller on it. Okay. You can draw whatever you like, okay? But I want you to practice using these forms.